Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Ekoki Otaku. Today with us, we have a very special guest. He voices Kou Yamori in Call of the Night. He also voices Kaoru Touno in The Tunnel to Summer, The Exit of Goodbyes. Ryouhei, Yamanouchi in Tsurune. Kakeru Kurahara in Run with the Wind. Wataru Sajou in The Dreaming Boy is a Realist, and honestly, the list keeps on going. So, without any further ado, by the way, I want to make a little parenthesis. We do have a very special mention to the assassin, the assassin in the Oshinoko. All right, now for sure, without any further ado, please give it up for Gabriel Regojo.
Hi, folks at home. Hey, y'all.
I was thinking, I was early today, like, hey, so it's going to be Gabriel or Gabriel? And I love Gabriel's response, like, depending, you want to go Spanish or English. And
Or do a mixture of both?
which one you hear more, Gabriel? Gabriel or Gabriel?
Gabriel, and sometimes too, like if I've worked with someone for a long time, they get to call me Gabe, but I've been trying to use my full name more frequently, just so like, I spent so many years like making myself smaller and like fitting into these boxes, and I'm like, I'm gonna take a little more space. You can say my full name, thank you very much. But y'all can call me Gabe if you'd like as well.
I want to say something because you do come from a Hispanic background. For those of you who listen to us from the USA or any other English-speaking country, in Spanish, when we say full name, we mean like first name, second name, last name from the father's side, last name from the mother's side, second last name from the father's side, second last name from the mother's side, and the list keeps on going because our names are long as heck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got 4.
And we're going to talk more about this later on during this episode, but when a Hispanic mom call you by the full name,
shit's over.
Run.
Get in the car, we're leaving.
And by the way, even when you make it bad, there's no way that we safe from the chancleta.
Oh my god. Yeah, or the back scratch. I got the back scratcher. That was the one.
We're going to talk about that more because definitely we have to talk about. But let's go to one. There's so many great anime going on from where you had the main role. I'm going to try to choose this one because one of the latest one in HIDIVE dub in English was big hit during the summer 2023, talking about your role as Wataru Sajou in The Dreaming Boy is a Realistic. For those who haven't watched this beautiful, awesome, great, so awesome series, what is it? How would you describe it?
So it's so it's like if a fuckboy got self-awareness and just was like, I'm kind of a piece of shit, and like I'm gonna work on myself, and then he does, and it's like, oh, you're actually pleasant to be around. So that's Dreaming Boy, I think. Wataru is like a lot more charming than like fuckboy, but I think the point still comes across.
See, and this is precisely the reason why we ask you guys to give us a brief explanation of the anime, because that's a lot better than what we would have said.
By the way, guys, there will be spoilers, so I can always say, drop the alert. There will be spoilers, not to cry about it. Usually, I'm a person that when I hear spoilers, really inspire me to watch a series that have it in the backlog. So, enjoy the spoilers, enjoy the story. We will not ruin your story, I promise you guys. So, going back to the story, technically, our main character, like you said, he have a crush on this girl, but he was annoying. He was a pain in the rear. He never stopped. Suddenly, in front of his face, somebody kicked a ball of soccer, almost hit him, and that's milliseconds, split microsecond, he think about it. I'm tired of this. I think I should stop this. It's a pain, and that moment is a new person. Mm-hmm. And I'm so surprised. I'm so surprised with this series because how when you open your eyes, sometimes we feel like you see the universe, but just changing his point of view, it's a total universe for him, a very interesting one. So far, what hit you more about this character?
I think for me was and getting to work with Kyle Jones, who if you get to meet Kyle at any point at like a con or something, dude's just funny. He's a funny dude. He's always like looking for a joke, and so like just the humor that comes out through this show. I've gotten to do some comedic shows before, but this one it's really like we take a run at something and I just be like, oh wait, can I try it again, because I think I hear something that's like, I think I hear the punchline. And so like it was just ass clowning.
And this series, the color, the animation, the color, the background, even the opening is one of those that I've seen already like more than 10 times. And I don't get tired of watching it because the details are so beautiful, the animation, that damn, I didn't even so great anime. And one of the funny part, a little bit spoiler, but not going to ruin it, guys. It was the scene of the college girl, which it really triggered me. That, oh my god! And when it really happened, the guy was surprised, and I was here in the couch like, it triggered me for 3 chapters. So, what would be one of those funny moments that you can remember from this series?
There's that moment when he realizes his terrible mistake, and I think so there's a moment later where at a certain point in the story he gets a part-time job at a bookstore, and I think that's enough to without giving away anything.
Right.
And a character arrives, and like just that character's problem is just like, for me, I was like, this is a little odd, but like just like the way it escalated, and just like as soon as we like went for the take on this moment of like Sajou just kind of like like it was so funny. I had to stop for a minute. I was just giggling because it was so goofy. But yeah, just like that sense of humor that comes through like on that moment where with the college girl and then the bookstore stuff, it's like corny, but like in a comforting way.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I love it because it's hard to trick the audience, and they did it so great that I had to go back. I had to go to the HIDIVE app. Like, let me see something here. Like, oh my god, they were well set up to trick everybody to make the same mistake that he did. So that's something really I love of the series. And this is one of those series that the side characters, they didn't waste resources on them. All side characters are very well drawn, and they all have a role, like something like the classroom of the elite, which another one, those anime that have a lot of character with a lot of there's no wasted character. They all have something important in the story. And this is one of those series that all side character with great color and animation, they have something important to drop one point in the series. So slowing down the pace to another one of your latest release, but this one was theatrical release. We made it to the big screen internationally and in the United States in sub and English dub. I'm talking about the tunnel to summer, the exit of goodbye. The tunnel of the summer, the exit of goodbyes, where you had the main role of Kaoru Touno.
Yeah, I can't see that.
You're way ahead.
There it is. You can get it on Blu-ray.
I didn't know it was already released on Blu-ray.
That was fast.
Yes. They move quick.
And that title is kind of long, but you take your time. You're going to see there's a very deep, heavy meaning story in that title. Just the tunnel to summer, the exit of the goodbye. For those who haven't watched shit yet, how would you describe this beautiful movie?
Yeah, stylistically, it's like an impressionist painting meets anime, and with some 3D animation elements in it. And the story follows 2 young people who are deeply hurt, and them finding solace in each other, and some spooky stuff happens. And it's a very just tender love story and a very human story. And it was some of my favorite work I've gotten to do. I got to work with a longtime collaborator, Patricia Duran, and John Swayze, who has a resume the size of this room. So I was very lucky to get to work on that one.
I love the fact that you mentioned that it's like an impressionistic painting, because that movie, in regards to how they animated it and how they even did the backgrounds and everything, the colors just pop. Everything about it just calls you to like go into the movie and enjoy just how beautiful it is. Regarding the tunnel per se, when we get to see how there's this time dilation in the tunnel, and like when I say time dilation, I mean like massive, like seconds on the regular world would be the other way around. Seconds in the tunnel would be hours in the regular world, and then a couple of minutes, you already have a day, to the point that whenever Kaoru, the main character, went in there the first time, he came back like I believe it was like 3 days later, or was it a week? It was something like that. It was something like pretty big.
Yeah, it was,
I think it was for each second, it was 1 hour.
Yeah, sounds about right. And I think he ends up missing a week the first time he goes into the tunnel, because he was in there for like 48 seconds or 50 seconds or something. Yeah.
In regards to that one, what would you say is this, like, the scene that impacted you the most out of that movie? At least for me, towards the end, it got really emotional. But like, which scene would you say impacted you the most?
I'd say, like, for me, I mean, of course, the fireworks, because those are beautiful. But if that one was not allowed to be said, I'd say the aquarium sequence. Just the background storytelling's beautiful. And then, like, in third place, I think it's like every time we see the planes in the background shot, that one always gets me. I'm just like, ooh, look at that background telling the story.
True. One thing I loved was the color of the trees inside the tunnel. Like, every time we were there, I was just like, I wish this were a real thing, because I would just like gawk at it the entire time. It was just that beautiful to look at.
Yeah, just a shiny rock goblin, just like slacks.
True.
I mean, I had to confess, Kiara, something that she did not like about that movie was that every time the train was always late because we had a deer accident. But the deer hour, Kiara was like, "That guy going to keep killing deers. Damn it, do something about it."
To the point that right now, we were watching another anime, and they were waiting for the train. I'm like, I'm sure it's late because they probably killed another deer.
Just these Japanese trains murdering deer.
Running gag. I'm like, I was like, is this a real thing? I wouldn't put it past them though. But then I was like, why can't they just like build a fence around it, at least where they're always killing the deer? Like, what do we have against them? I thought we loved deer, but
right,
apparently not.
I know, here, like, Kiara, calm down. It's a movie. Sci-fi. It's not real.
No, but actually, guys, I was reading in the internet.
Ellie, help me here.
No. I stopped this because I was reading about this movie, and I remember that at some place I found that this is something about a Japanese actual myth regarding how a fisherman who spent some time under the sea in the Dragon Palace only to return hundreds of years later. Therefore, basically, they use Japanese folklore and just use the tunnel at a different setting, but with using the same story of that folklore, which is something really nice too when you think about it.
So technically, it's like local legend folklore.
They took that local legend and they just basically use it as in a different setting for the movie. And I remember reading that at some point. I found that, and basically it's like the Dragon Palace for the fisherman, and he came years later after that. And I think that's something interesting because a lot of the people don't realize that a lot of these stories like have something related to the Japanese folklore, and that's also something good.
And I bet an adjunct to that was running over the deer.
Adding more for those who haven't seen the movie yet, want to know a little bit more. In this case, we have the legend, this local legend, where people say there's a mystical tunnel where you go in, you get what you have been looking for, something that you lost. But there's a small detail I didn't even say that, hey, you may find it, you may get into it, but there's a cost, a surprise, that times run way too fast. Each second over there, 1 hour out in life. And these characters, they did, we'll say, what shouldn't be done at one point. That last run that he had, we were like straight like, okay, he's going to do it. He's going to run like hell to the tunnel. Even that we knew was wrong what he was about to do. And honestly, I love the ending. I wasn't expecting it, but I like it. So
yeah, there was a running
like
joke.
the age gap.
I'm good for it. I'm like, my man. I was here like,
I kept calculating it, and I was like, man, they're gonna be like a 13-year difference, but then something happened and it's less. But I was still like, man, the age gap. I can't.
Yeah. Well, and I remember like as we were finishing up the recording of it, I was like, hold on, this doesn't add up. So she's like 30 and he's 18 at most. Like, that's not Gucci, no.
Thank you. My same reaction.
There was a running joke we had that just Kaoru couldn't fucking stay on his feet. He just tripped every time he tried to run. Just hit the water.
That was ours either, and that was ours too. I was like, go run. He's probably gonna trip too. Thank God it's not over deer, but he's gonna keep tripping too.
Hey, I was like, dude, my man, I go for you. I'm happy for it. And the solution for me was easy. I was like, you guys are there. Guy had to walk out. Just made a calculation. Just walk out. Let the girl waiting over there channel. We solved the problem.
There you go. Yeah. We'll get up to date.
Exactly. Time travel, forced time travel, something like that. But going out of the tunnel to something more chill, more peaceful in the night, talking about one of the greatest anime based not during the day, but based on the night. Talking about Call of the Night, where you have the main role of Kou Yamori. For those who haven't seen this beautiful, peaceful, different anime series, how would you describe it?
It is a boy with insomnia starts kicking back with a vampire, and they both they're easy to each other. But
wait, did they?
No, they don't.
I was like, did I miss this?
No. They start a relationship, and
not yet. Right, we're getting there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I saw a couple months ago, but I think that the light novel's ending for that series, and I think they've gotten like a green light for the second season of a dub or of a sub, but dubbed for in Japanese. So hopefully we'll get some more Call of the Night before too long. I had a lot of fun working with Shannon Reed on that, and Natalie Rial is one of the GOAT. So it was always great to get to work alongside her and Shannon. So.
Now that I think about it, we were missing you because we had the episode with Shannon, we had the episode with Natalie, like, so we're missing you here. And for those who haven't seen this series, it's very beautiful. I love it because the scenario, we're talking about all episodes take the time, place, of the night.
The opening.
And the opening, everything, the closing, everything.
The Crazy Nut song, just bop it in the booth every day.
I do remember one shining moment when we were talking to her about Call of the Night, and she was talking about the sounds she had to make for like sucking his blood. And that's all I'm gonna leave it as.
Yeah. I think I remember one that was just a very. And I was like, oh, I don't know about that one, but yeah, that show is such a goofy, fun little thing, but like it was beautiful animation and just like very contemplative. Like I know for myself, I ended up thinking like, because I was a night owl, and now that I've reached my 30s, like like I'm at my bedtime right now. But
Aren't we all?
yeah, right. And so but there was those those nights in your 20s where you're up till like 4 or 5, and you're like, this is the most rest I've had all day. So I think that's like one of those things that like really resonated with me on that show.
Yeah, now I had the heart of a 20-year old because that's my hours.
You keep doing that. Only keep doing that stuff. But when you sing about Nasuna, it's funny because I think Call of the Night keep a good balance between the ecchi part with the actual storytelling. It's like you keep getting into the story. You really like how Kazuna and Kou are interacting and how that interaction is growing with all other these interesting personages, other characters going into the series. But you always get a little bit of ecchi, a little bit of funny part, and the story keep going on that way. And I think that balance is something that is characteristic of this series. It's not something that many series can achieve easily. And that I think that with a really good music is what actually brought like a really good series here.
Yeah.
And what I was about to say that Natalie will kill me if she hear about this, that Nasuna, the character, I used to say that she was a ugly kawaii waifu. Because usually when you talk about the most of the waifu, they're like classic, big chest, curve, hair long, hairstyle, and all waifu. You guys know what I mean. But Asuna is different. She's like super skinny, super pale, hair always like she always put it together, so it's not like loose. She doesn't wear any makeup, and she's like whatever. But her personality was make her so kawaii. So I'm like, that's a different waifu. Like Kelsey, like, you're crazy. Like, no, she's a waifu. Interesting waifu, but she is.
Yeah.
Well, the ending actually is just about her. What you say
that's
about
what I was gonna say. The ending itself is just like shot after shot after shot of poses and poses and poses, questionable poses, and then I was just like, no, the right angles.
Yeah, what am I saying here? And I'm like, you're seeing art. That's art.
This is art.
So moving on to another of the series, technically moving from the night to the sky as the crow go to the sky and fly in the volleyball court. One of the most hyped sports series that we ever seen. If you want to have peace, relax on the couch, I promise you guys, this is not your series because this one is going to bring you to high tension. You're a fan of sport or you're not a fan of sport, trust me, you're going to be nervous with this series. I'm talking about the series Haikyuu, where you had it's a main character too, of Kazuhito Narita. So for those who haven't seen this great sport series, how would you describe it?
It is a high school volleyball team gonna make it to state this year. But more specifically, it centers around the two like lead, but they are supported by a great cast of actors that it's a very long list of people, but you know them, you love them, and I feel honored that I got to play with them.
For real, play with them.
Yeah. Well, Kazuhito, like, such a good bro. He's just a bench warmer. He has like maybe 3 or 4 games the entire season, and he's just like, hey, don't let them score any more points until we get the main character back. So, and he does it. I mean, he is a team player, and he looks like another one of the characters. So like there was a couple of like sequences where like we're recording, and I think it's Greg Cody's character is the other guy with a fade. And so there was just instances where like we're getting these like big group reactions, like, whoa, why are you doing that? And like, is that me or is that Greg? So
It for me, I used to play volleyball back in high school only, and so I know about the sport. I know how the rhythm how it goes. So usually for those who are fan of volleyball, play volleyball, we know the tension that we all suffer during a game. Being a player, being a fan, every point counts, and these plays they take seconds. But in just a few seconds, it can take. You see a lot of action. Somebody nice serve, the guy set it up, the guy kill it. It's for me so it's hard in English. For me, everything is Spanish. Sirve, acomoda, ataca, quilea. I know the English Spanish term, but this in real life, they just take 5 seconds, 7 maximum. Really weird when that play take more than 10 seconds. Now, imagine that scene that they usually 7 seconds, lasting now 5 minutes. So the tension is going to be not for 7 seconds, it's going to be for 5 minutes. And damn it, you feel the stress. You want to sit down, please allow me to chill out. No, you're not going to chill out because you want to feel the stress. Like, oh my god, he's going to let the ball drop. And so there's somebody from nowhere to show up. Whoa, there's hope, the game is not over. So, just thinking about it makes me sweat. So, in your case, do you have any sport background for this series or not at all?
So I used to play a lot of soccer, and unfortunately, I was the defender. Well, I wasn't very aggressive, and I wasn't very fast, so I did not last very long, much to my father's disappointment. But he's fine now. He lives with it. No, he's very supportive. He's very supportive, but. So I have very minimal sports background. It's not a major interest of my own, but like I love a good.
Don't worry about it.
yeah, and but I love me some good drama. I love me some high tension. So that's my jam, and I think just being a fan of the drama of it all, I'm like, yeah, I can fucks with this.
Hey, I used to play soccer too, and I used to be defense center, and I used to love that position because for me that's the best way to enjoy the game. But hey, I want to play the game, I want to enjoy, so let me ride in the back.
Yeah.
Let me see from here all the play. The only problem that you have all the responsibility. Every time the other team was attacking, it depends on you, and you screw it up. You know what happened, and all the team look at you like, dude, why are you laughing?
Yeah. They put me on the wing, and it was just like. Man, no, you got to move. You got to get that ball up there.
Why don't you try out for keeper?
I was scared of the ball. You want to get hit in the face?
Oh, I get that. I got hit in the face quite a few times.
Yeah, man. I the times I have, I'm like, I don't want that again.
I get that. I see that.
And now that we're talking about your background sport, let's talk about your background, career background. How do you land up here as with so many main roles in the anime industry? What are the origins of Gabriel Regojo? Did he start being as a kid? Oh, you're going to be a voice actor when I grow up, or how did you end up here?
I emerged from a primordial ooze. No.
Love that.
So, born and raised in Houston, Texas, and I just spent a lot of my early career, as with the desire to become an actor, to work in film, stage, wherever my craft would take me. And so I was enrolled at University of Houston School of Theater and Dance. And one of my professors, Gerardo Anzaldúa, he was filling in for another professor at the time, and he was an adjunct. And he had mentioned that Sentai was, looking for, a couple of actors to, round out their roster for a couple of shows. And so, he put a couple of my class through, and so like Christina Kelly, she's one of my cohort, or Ben McLaughlin or Shelby Blocker, or Sara Ornelas, or, these, like, we all went to school together at the same time. And I got to work with the late, great, and miss you very much, Chris Ayers. He gave me my first role. And then, I was just slowly getting to know the people working at the studio, getting better at doing anime. I remember my first couple of shows, it was rough. But eventually I started to get more of a handle on it, and now they're trusting me with leads. But yeah, just over the years, it's been always just searching for, the next project, the next gig, and trying to be better in each subsequent project that I get to take on.
And let me going a little bit more familiar. We mentioned at the beginning how you come from parents from the Caribbean, mother from the Dominican Republic, Dominican Republicana, and father from Cuba.
Yes.
Usually, all come from Puerto Rico, and most of the time, I think our culture, back when we were in high school, we say, "Hey, mom, I want to study theater." They will be like, "Hell no," because you're going to be just going to die of hunger. What the hell? You don't make a profession for that. They're very not supportive from kids going to study arts. In your case, do you have the same challenges, or what's a different scenario for you?
I was very lucky and fortunate that both of my parents were incredibly supportive. My father was an engineer, and my mother is a lawyer. And so instead of, doing something smart or sensible, I decided to follow art. And then the rest of my family is like doctors, shit like that. And I remember I had an uncle, man, he's driving me over to his house or something. He's like, "Hey, have you ever thought about just doing medicine and then acting on the side?" And I was like, I don't know about that, man. Also, I'm squeamish about blood, so I was fortunate that I had the support of my parents, and I've had a very fortunate career. I know it's a lot. I come from a huge place of privilege as a white passing Latino, and so I'm afforded more opportunities and acceptance in the white community, and that is just to say that I'm very happy with my career, but I know that there are others who see the same path, but it's more difficult for them, and just know I'm rooting for you, and yeah.
We gotta talk about the assassin, the driving force in the entire Oshinoko series. The guy where everybody's like, "Oh, this is so nice. This is so nice." What the heck happened at the end of the first episode? So, how did it feel to play that pivotal role? Because it does set the tone for the entire series.
I was a blast, man. I mean, the way I look at it is, if you're familiar with the play by Moliere, Tartuffe, there's a character called Royal who shows up at the very end of the show, and you have to pay attention to him because he wraps everything up. That's the assassin for me in Oshinoko. It's just like, look, I'm about to kick off this whole motherfucking story, so you better thank me.
That is true.
So, it's like, he's not an important character, but he's the most important character.
What do you mean not an important character? We have the son. Well, Isekai's son. I don't even know what to classify. The reincarnated son, who was a doctor before, now the son, and it's just weird. Whatever. We won't get into that right now. Yeah. The fact that he's just there, searching. The entire point is searching. Who is this guy? What connections did my mom have, etc., etc.
Remember that he's not looking for the assassin. He's looking for who
the mastermind. He's looking for the mastermind behind that. Actually is quite interesting, because when you look actually at the manga, you see that this person is someone really important, and that's another important thing that you will get down the road for this anime in the next season.
True. The assassin was caught. Like he offed himself, to not say something on social media. But we know who is. He knows who he is. But yeah, it's the point. The point is, okay, here's a guy we gotta look for everything about the guy that led to this. I get that.
But
Yeah,
me-
actually, the series get Ochinoko get a little bit like psychological on the road, and that's what we are seeing now. That some people like it, other people don't like it. But honestly, it's quite interesting how they change this idol story that many people did not have any hope when they start. You got the assassin that changed everything on that first character. The internet just was broken at that point. And from there, you get how this becomes more and more psychological. And I think more or less that's how it seems go.
I'm going to confess. I'm not the name. Ochinoko. It was a series that I heard something about it, but didn't know what's going on. And the week before the release, I seen the people hype in the internet. This week, the premiere of Ochinoko is going to be on Wednesday. I think it was Wednesday. The release. I'm like, all right. And suddenly, Wednesday morning, the vibe changed completely. Oh my god, it's episode didn't say come. And the spoiler, forgive people who can't wait 24 hours to hold a spoiler. They start showing spoilers. I'm here like, whoa, what's going on here? So I said, okay, let me sit down. Let me watch this first episode, which lasts almost an hour.
Yeah.
It was equivalent for 2 episodes.
Special. Yeah. HBO special anime.
True.
For real. But even though it worked, because on that first episode, it tricked me 3 times. The first time I see the episode, and okay, so I know how the story is going to be. We're going to spoil this guy. You don't have enough time in it. We know the story of the doctor. So like, okay, so we're going to see the story of a doctor who's going to see his fan. And suddenly, the doctor is dead. Like, whoa, what happened here? Okay, so maybe, so now it's like he's a guy in real life, in time. He's a guy in a baby. Okay, so it's the story of a baby growing. And look, so great. We're going to see now how I's working so hard, and suddenly your character, Ryousuke, show up. And I hear like, boom. And that second, I couldn't believe what my eyes were seeing. I hear like, I spent already hour and 20 and 10 minutes. What the heck is about to finish? And by the end of that episode, it was a different story. Great, super great. But again, like you mentioned, one of the not that important but super important. Without Ryousuke, Oshinoko wouldn't be Oshinoko. That's too big.
And it would have been about the mom.
True. Which is what we were expecting at first because of the art, trailer art or art for the series, like the promotional art. It was always about, here's the mom, here's here's what she's doing, here's the idol, and then all of a sudden it shifts to the kids, and we're like, wait, I thought this was going to be about her and like an idol series, and what happened? And she's there for the entirety of one episode, and we're gone.
And they kill her just before presenting on the setting. It's like it was the biggest part of her career. It was like really important part. No, let's just kill her before this, you know.
And you know something that also killed me about this I character. So we see the promo, like Kiara mentioned, it's about I. We see everything about I. We think it's to be about I, Oshina. They kill her, and I thought that they were just going to delete her. And the next day, next week, we had the music release. That was another hit that went global, international, hitting the top list #1. That probably continued with the Anime Awards. Sure. Idol, the song, and when you see the song, it's about the mom. So like, what's going on? And having a character that's killed in the first episode, but even that she's dead, her presence, you can feel it in the rest of the episode. Damn, that's a great project. Moving on to another series, which I haven't heard about it, and I saw your list, and I was like, it reminds me some memory. I can't remember what we said about, and when I just saw the trailer, and one of my core anime series before we start this podcast, talking about Assassin's Pride, which you have the role of, let's see here. I hate when this happened to me.
But Kufa Vampir, I think is Assassin's Pride, yeah?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, yeah, I was like...
Kufa Vampir.
Yeah. I gotta be honest. I've done a lot of vampire things, so they kind of just start to bleed together.
Interesting.
Like I think it's like 3 or 4 like vampire shows or just vampire media. Not complaining. I love vampires. I feel a little like Guillermo and What We Do in the Shadows. Just like I saw Antonio Banderas in Interview with a Vampire, and I wanted to be one.
You're not going to much of Twilight too? Or no?
Twilight. Yeah.
Let's stick with the classics. Underworld.
Yes. Oh, I haven't seen that one in ages.
Underworld, Blade, the classics, the super classics.
Many people haven't seen it, Kara. I mean, today's day, you'll be surprised.
I know.
But for those who haven't seen Assassin's Creed, how would you describe this series?
It's been a minute, but what I recall is there is a floating chandelier city, and inside of this chandelier city are humans. But outside of it, there's a bunch of spooky shit. And Kufa Vampir is an assassin for someone who, I'm trying to remember the finer points, but he's an assassin who is going to murder someone, but decides, no, I'm not going to do that. It's like Leon the Professional. That's it. Yeah, it's a little Leon the Professional meets very spooky Beauty and the Beast.
Best combination. And I think one of the first anime, not first because it's 2019, so it was older, but recent anime, I really love the sequence, the music, the opening, and the color of the city. One of those anime series where you combine the male students character with the waifus, Young's waifu, or not waifu, kawaii character, but they're just teenagers on the school trying to be warrior, fighting against each other, technically, defending the house. My house, I forgot the names. So, do you face any challenge when you have to do this kind of character that are like kind of dry, but they need to show emotion, being serious, like you be a very same tone?
Yeah, I mean, the stoic character can fall into a trap of being just dry and not interesting to listen to. And thankfully, I've got great directors on all of these projects I get to work on. So that they're always keeping in mind, like, hey, it's kind of running all together. For me, the key is just finding the objective for each of them. So, like, they may be even keel the whole time, but they want something, right? And so, like, that want is going to inform where that inflection is, and it may be all here, but, like, there's some heat on top of it or below it, you know? And it just depends on the character, just what's going on in their given circumstances.
And moving on to our last two series we're missing, they're all sport related. Now that I think about it, let's start with Tsurune. We had the character of Ryouhei Yamanouchi.
I think so. Yamanouchi. I feel bad. That's one of my weakest skills is the Japanese name pronunciation. So I think it's Yamanouchi. Yes, Tsurune. It's a story about the boys' archery team making state this year. And I play a human Mr. Peanut Butter of a high school archer boy, Ryouhei, and he's friends to the main character, one of like the core 3 dudes who start the archery club or the Kyudo club.
And this is one of those series that really surprised me because, I mean, for those who doesn't practice archery, we will say it's a very chill sport. I don't want to say boring, to be disrespectful, but it's kind of hard for me to imagine the hype. Only that seeing somebody pointing and the target and get arrow. But anime make it hype, make it interesting, make bring the emotion, and so many times it helps to understand the sport. Like right now, this year they have a Overdrive series, which is about Formula 4. And those who haven't seen, those who are a little bit interested in Formula One or motorsport, I started being a Formula One fan this year, and we start watching the series. And like, whoa, they're explaining everything, all the real term about is it real life? And Haikyuu was the same. And this is another series, Tsurune, where they're technically speaking about why a sport is interesting, like archery. And talking about making a sport interesting.
Difficult.
Yeah, I know, but it's like tennis. I mean, tennis, Princess tennis. But if you go to real sport, you cannot be like, let's go. They're going to kick you out. I'm a person to share. But when Princess tennis, they make it so interesting. They show you the sport. Oh, they're going to do the snake speed. Oh.
Yeah.
They know how to bring the magic. And another sports series, they make it interesting. Talking about Wrong with the Wind with the character of Kakeru. For those who haven't seen this series, Wrong with the Wind, how would you describe it?
It is a college men's cross country team, and they're gonna make state.
I was waiting for it. I was like, yes, here we go.
Yeah, it comes in threes. But it follows Kakeru and this men's cross-country team and just the trials and tribulations of running cross-country, which is a sport I do have background in. As I said before, I was a terrible defender because I was super slow, and I was a shit cross-country runner. But I did it. I finished the race.
For those ignorant like me, doesn't know what's a cross-country runner. What's the difference between a person running a cross-country?
Yeah, so track, you'll have like specific race increments. So like you can have the 200, the 400, the 800. And with cross-country, it's like...
long distance.
Kind of like and like you can... A lot of terrain. It's like 5Ks to like 10Ks are some of the race distances. And it's... You just got to pace yourself the whole way.
Thank you so much for joining us, Tuna. It has been a great pleasure.
Thank y'all.
For those who are considering joining the voice acting career in the future, or just starting voice acting career, any word of advice for them?
Yes. I would say if you're just getting started or like you're looking for a way in, learn how to be an actor. Get training. Even if it's just a few classes a week. Even if it's a single class, there is a wealth of resources available specifically geared towards voice acting, but learn how to be an actor, learn what it means to chase an objective. You do that, you're going to find you'll bring more to the work instead of just a voice. You'll be bringing a character. And then just know your worth. You are, no matter where you are in your career, you have value and you should be treated as such. So if you're not being treated with value, miss me with that bullshit. Move on.
I love it. To wrap it up. So, thanks for those who haven't followed you yet, in which social media they can follow you?
You can find me on Twitter at Gabriel Regojo. I also have a Facebook, but it's my personal one, so I probably won't add you unless I know you. So follow me on Twitter. Yeah, also, if you want to see what I'm up to and you're in the Houston area, come see a play. If you don't live in Houston, go see a play. With everything that's happening right now with SAG and AI studios, like the theater is the most AI-proof way to consume media. And a lot of voice actors start in the theater. So treat yourself. You're going to find maybe the next voice that you'll be hearing for the next 10 years.
That's true. For this holiday, we decided to visit our county local theater club, and we went over there, and it was a great experience. And I was telling Kiara, who knows, for this guy we're watching here, who might be the next voice actor in anime that we're seeing right now here in the future. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely.
It's funny enough, I just saw, so y'all know Chris Patton, yes? Like, Chris Patton, like, longtime voice actor. If you look him up, you'll be like, oh, of course I know this dude. Well, he was just in a show here in Houston. He was Dracula. Yes. So, you may find some of your favorite voice actors on stage. Yeah.
Definitely. And for us, like always, guys, you can you can find Gabriel website. Just go down to the description, expand the description of this video, and you're going to find a link over there with Gabriel Twitter, Twitter page, where you can go. Just click over there, and boom, you land on Gabriel, hit subscribe, and that way you can chase Gabriel on the place around on Texas. And for us, like always, we humbly asking for subscribe, like, and share in all social media or YouTube. Very important. The subscribe, like, and share. Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all of them. And that's all. Gabriel, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
It was a pleasure getting to chat with all of you and all of you folks at home. Thank you all so much. I had so much fun.
Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next episode. Sayonara.
Goodbye.